Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Get to It Home Tips and Tricks series. Today we're going to be working in a kind of tight quarters here in the bathroom. We're going to be working on the commode. We've got a fill valve, water fill valve that's sticking, and we're going to remedy that problem. So let's get to it. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the things you're going to be needing today. When we take the valve loose to replace it, we're going to need a pan of some kind, a bucket, pan, anything, something kind of short that'll reach under the commode. Probably need a pair of channel lock pliers to help get the nut loose. Sometimes you can get it with your hand, sometimes it's stuck. And then we've got this toilet fill valve here. This is your standard Flushmaster brand type fill valve. There's a lot of different fill valves. There are a lot of them similar, a few of them a little different, but basically they all do the same thing. So we're going to show you, first I'm going to show you, sometimes you can repair the one that you've got. A lot of times they just fill it with trash and stuff and stick, and that's what this one's doing, is sticking. So I'm going to show you how to try that before you replace it. We're still going to replace this one since I already got the valve, but just stay tuned and we're going to get started with it. Like I said, it's going to be pretty tight quarters in here, so I'm going to try to keep adjusting so we can show you what we're doing. First thing you'll do is take this lid off and be really careful with these lids. If you drop them, they're going to break. They're real fragile, and it's almost impossible to find a replacement for them because they keep changing models off and on. So first thing I'm going to do is take this lid off and lay it over to the side. I like to just go ahead and lay them in the sink, in the lavatory, just so make sure they can't slide off. Now I'm going to readjust the camera here so you can see inside. Now you can see this little blue cap right here. That's the top of the valve, actually where the actual valve seat is, that cuts the water off and on. And that's what I'm talking about. A lot of times you get trash under them, and makes it harder to do. They're not always blue. This is the new one, and the cap's black, but it's basically the same thing. What we're going to do, we're going to snap this little cap off right here and clean out underneath there and see if we got any trash in there. So hang on. Now before we go to taking that off, I'm just going to tilt the camera here so you can see it. It's hard for me in the camera. You can see right here is our cutoff valve. This type valve, it turns several turns, full turns before it gets cut off. Then like that. Some of the more modern ones are just a quarter turn, and then they're off. So just depending on which one's yours. They all go counterclockwise to open and clockwise to close. So let's get this cap off. I want to give you a little shot of what this looks like when you get the cap off, so you kind of know what we're doing. You can see right here you got a little pin, little plastic pin, and we're going to pull that little pin out, and that will let us raise this valve up, and that's where we're going to clean out from. Okay, here's the little pin I pulled out. I had to get a pair of needle nose pliers. I couldn't get my old fat fingers in there to get it out. It's just a little plastic pin, a little ridge on each end, so you kind of have to snaps in there a little bit. And then we're going to do, just going to lift up on this lever a little bit, pull it out, and just take and twist this just about a quarter of a turn, like that, and it comes out. And you'll see you got a little rubber diaphragm in here, so you can see the water, how it squirts, pushes there, So a lot of times this little diaphragm gets a lot of trash in it. You see a little trash there. I don't know whether you can see it or not. But so what we're going to do, I'm going to clean this up real good, and we'll put it back together. And then we'll go on to the next step of just replacing the whole thing. So this is not real dirty, and that's still in good shape. A lot of times when they're leaking by, It either has some trash there, see some trash there. It either has trash in it, or this rubber is cracked or broken. So I'm gonna clean this up and we'll put it back together. Okay, so we got it good and cleaned up, so we're gonna stick it back in here. The way it come out, it's gonna pops in there. Watch, the orientation when you take it out, and then we're just gonna be sure your wide part of your gap there is headed toward the inside of the tank, toward the lever. So we're gonna stick it back down there, just kind of push it down a little bit, turn it that quarter turn, and I'm gonna put our lever back in. Like that. And we'll take our pin and get it back in there. There we go. A little bit stubborn. And then what we're going to do is take our little blue cap and snap it back on. And then if we weren't going to replace it, we'd cut it on and give it a test. But we're going to go ahead and replace this. So let's leave it at that. We're going to go on to our next step. Okay guys, here's our next step. We've got to get this line loose and the bottom loose. The first thing, we want to try to get just as much water out of this tank. Just kind of slosh it around over there. Get it down in the hole. And then the rest of it's going to run in our pan. So I want to get our pan under there. And then we'll catch that water when it comes out. Most of the time you can get a hold of these with your hand like that. If you can't, just I'll get a hold of it with some channel locks. Just don't try to put a real tight grip on it, because it is, keep in mind, it is plastic. So we're just going to take that line loose and same way with everything else, counterclockwise to loosen it, clockwise to tighten it up. Now there's another one on the bottom. Once you get that water line off, there's another nut, a little plastic nut, that actually holds the fill valve in. And that's it right there. Hope you can see it. You can look at that. Like I say, it's most of it's just hand tightened stuff. And then we're just going to click up on the valve, and you see the rest of that water run out. Okay, here's what your, get the rest of that water. Check out, here's what your valve looks like. And what it was doing when it's sitting down in there, this nut was just screwed on there, clamping it up. And you've got a gasket here. Now pay attention to where the gasket's at. It's not on the bottom of the tank, it's on the inside of the tank. You see that gasket right there. So we'll put a new gasket on, make sure it's to that end. Now, another thing you want to do, let's get a new one here, is these are adjustable. So you want to make sure that they're the same height, and you can see this one, you put them together there, they're just a little bit, this was just a tiny bit shorter here. So once you tighten, it's got a little less threads on it than the new one does, or the old one does. So we've got to make this one come up a little bit. And what you do, you just grab it right here and just give it a twist, and that will extend it up. And then that way you can get it exactly the same as your other one. And what you want to go by is this little flange right there. So that is pretty close. Let's give it just a little bit more. And there you can see now that they're even. So this is going to be the same height. So we're going to discard this one. And this is our new one. And you see it just works up and down, just exactly like the old one. And I'm going to show you, you can see this tube right here. This is the tube that helps fill your bowl up when you're when it's filling up. This got a new one. I'm gonna get it in, then I'll put the tube on there and show you how it goes. So we're gonna do, we got our gasket on there like I was talking about. This just happened to be red instead of black. So I'm just gonna sit it down in the same hole, make sure there's not any trash under it. And sit it down in that same hole. And make sure that up here that you turn it in the right direction. Make sure your little handle's out toward the center. And then they all come with a new nut. The other one's not in bad shape, you can use it, but since it comes with a new one, I'd recommend you just go ahead and use the new one. So all we're going to do is going to get it started there, and that's the same way. Clockwise, screw on, counterclockwise, to screw it off. And just tighten it. How you can get with your hand, it should be plenty. And we're going to do the same thing, put our hose back on here. If you have to replace one of these hoses, be sure and use the braided hose. The little black, gray polybutyl ones are just not very good. They're bad to pop off, and they'll do it when you're not around, bust, and then they'll flood your house. All right. Okay, we're going to put our little hose on here. You can see it just goes right here, and it just slips on. And it doesn't have that much pressure, so there's no need to have any kind of clamp or anything on it. And then you've got another little piece that screws in here onto that end. Same way, it doesn't need anything new. Now what you want to make sure is that this clips on here. See it where you can see where it separates there, but just clip it on to this spout. So it goes down into your bowl. So when you cut the water on, we may it's good. Don't want it to get kinked, but just make sure it goes in there. If you don't, it won't fill your bowl up good. There we go. And we're good. No leaks at the bottom, so we're good there. And also, this one was filling up slow, so it's probably got a little calcium build up in the line, but it's filling up really fast now, just like it's supposed to. Check, make sure it cuts off. We want it to cut off. This line right here just shows us where we want it to cut off at. So it doesn't cut off where we want it. This screw valve just as this float right here. And that's pretty close right there. I'm gonna leave it there. That's pretty close to the line there. So so that completes that. Okay guys, I hope that helps with that project. Get your commode straightened out and filling up right. And if you like that video, please subscribe to our other videos and hit that notification bell so YouTube will send you a notification each time we put out a new video. It doesn't cost anything, so it's all free information. If you like it, give us a good thumbs up also, and look at our other videos. We've got about a dozen other videos right now on YouTube, and I hope they'll help you around your house with your repairs. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.